Hi there, good morning, good afternoon or good night, depending on what time you're watching this. A lot of people have been asking me to do an update on the floating island that I've got in the pond. So here we go. Well, there we have it. As you can see, after more than a year, it's still floating. Although I have had to chop a lot of the vegetation back because it got very heavy and it was blowing around badly in the wind. I think I need to plant something a little bit shorter because I did have these big pink flowering shrubby plants on there and it tipped over in the wind, which is no good. Still floats though. Now, as you can see around this side of the pond, there's a lot of that pink flower, and for the life of me I'm being put on the spot and I cannot remember its name. I know the Latin name is Lithium salicaria, but I'll put the common name across the bottom of the screen now, and I'll kick myself when I look it up on Google. Now there's the vegetation that I took off the floating island yesterday. I basically went out in the boat, chopped it off and brought it back. Purple loosestrife, that's what it's called. I've just remembered it now without looking it up. Purple loosestrife, very good for butterflies and bees, but it does grow big. I mean, most of it there is a good 6 feet tall maybe. And look at the amount of ducks that's on the pond. There was 41 on here one night. As you can see, the island is still floating quite high in the water. I just need to plant it up with different plants. I think I'll probably put mimulus and, annuals in there that just seed and come again. Because planting big perennials is not the way forward. It did look beautiful, to be honest, before I cut it down, but it's just too big and heavy. It catches the wind. This is looking at the pond from the top end. So you come out of the fields that's around my house, and this is what you would see. If you were trespassing on my land, this would be the view. As far as the filtration goes, it's still working very well. We've got 3 vortexes there. That settles out the heavy muck. It's pumped out of the pond by a what is it? Oase Aquamax 16,000. So it pumps into that end, water goes around, into here, goes around, in here, goes around, and then it drops out into these 4 chambers here, which are big. I'll put the dimensions of them on the screen, and obviously you can see they've got brushes packed into these big perforated plant pots here, so the water goes through there. Again, that supports a nation of life in there, loads of invertebrates and so on and so forth. Traps a lot of muck, and I don't know whether you can see, but maybe you can just see in there is probably about a ton of Alfagrog in big trays just stacked up in all of these. That provides an awesome habitat for invertebrates. Now, as part of some of these invertebrates that live in here's life cycle, they'll turn into adult flies. They'll hatch out, come up, land in here, feed the fish. Things like shrimps, water lice, all that sort of thing, will crawl around all over the place, and they'll eventually, some of them will get washed out of the exit pipes. Those exit pipes go under the path here. It's not very clear, but they come out underneath this big gunnera plant, and the water kind of flows around and then gets sucked up and pumped back into the filters. You might be thinking the filters are doing no good, but this water is very healthy. Even though it's got a nation of ducks on, it's still very healthy. It is coloured because this is a clay lined pond and it's got some carp in. And I would love it if I could show you one of the new carp, because it's massive, it's huge, and it's a lovely golden colour. I'll have a look for it, hopefully include it in this video. If not, I'll post that in another video. Bubbles coming up, so the carp are feeding on the bottom. Either that or it's a massive sturgeon about 6 feet long which is feeding on the bottom. Could be anything in here. And if you're eagle-eyed, you might have noticed previously that there's a lot of trees gone from the wood that surrounds our house. They were just getting far too big, and they were in real danger of falling through the house, falling through various buildings, so we've had to have them taken out. However, that has resulted in us having a nation of firewood, most of which still needs to be split, as you can probably see from here. There's hundreds and hundreds of big logs that need to be split and stacked. Now these two platforms, one here and one here that I put in a few years ago, have been planted with various aquatic plants, and they are doing really well. Off the bottom of the platforms we've got big brushes hanging down. They provide an excellent environment for loads of invertebrates and also fish fry. Hey up. Hello lad. And also the roots come through the bottom of the platforms, again just enhancing the environment. Got another platform over there and another platform up at the top, just there, and we've also got another platform here. All of them have come away really well. Obviously you can't really use this platform now unless you flatten the plants down, but it gives an excellent habitat, well, both above the water for bees and butterflies and everything to feed on the flowers, and also, well, the ducks nested in there as well. We had loads of young ducks earlier in the season. Underneath that, an excellent aquatic habitat, so it works really well. And of course we've got a perch here, which the kingfishers do use from time to time. They come up from the river and they'll just sit on there and dive down and catch all the little rudd and roach fry. There's thousands of those, but for whatever reason I cannot see any today. Again, if I can see any, I'll include them in this video. If not, you're just going to have to take my word for it. And also, if you're local and you want a home for any turtles that have outgrown your pond, either red-bellied sliders or yellow-eared sliders, they do really well in the pond. I think we've got 4 or 5 of them living in here. Some of them have been in for about 15 to 20 years. They do well, and they love the floating island as well. You know, if I come back on a night, you'll see ducks on here, and during the day we tend to get the turtles on there. In the winter the turtles just go down at the bottom and hibernate, and then every March they come up and just go about their daily business, you know. So there you have it, just a little update on the floating island and also the pond filter and so on and such forth. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame we didn't see any carp, but it can go days or weeks between me seeing carp or any other fish in the pond, and yet they're there, you know. Even that 6-foot sturgeon, I mean, it's literally something this long, massive, it's about this wide, it's got a big fat belly on it. It just goes around eating the invertebrates and anything that dies, and also it eats crayfish, so it's growing and growing and growing. The last time I saw it, it must have been 6 foot long. I was clearing some vegetation out, and I think that was maybe in the spring of this year, and I was just reaching into the pond and lifting stuff out, and this massive thing just came up with its pointy nose, just to say hello, and I nearly crapped myself. Honestly, I nearly fell in. It was just like a shark coming up. It was unbelievable. Anyway, that's still in there. There's a nation of new carp. In future videos I will show the carp, because early in the morning, sometimes if it's a nice warm sunny morning, I can come up here and I can hear them feeding around the edges of the pond. All you hear is like slurping noises, like, so you just walk around and then there's just this massive pair of lips just going like that, just feeding on flies or whatever else is floating on the top. So hopefully that's pleased you guys that have been constantly asking me for updates on the floating island. Yes, it is still floating after a year. Yes, it did work. Yes, it does support a lot of life again above it, with the ducks and the turtles, and also a lot of invertebrates that were in all of the foliage that I have now cut down. But also all the roots underneath support fry as well. You know, on a calm sunny day you can see a lot of fry around the island. If anything flies overhead, they just dive underneath the island, so they do use it as a refuge. Out! Oh, there's the big lad. There's the big lad. Here he comes. Come on. And he's generally followed by that smaller one. Look at the size of that big gold one. What a beauty. I got that off a friend of mine a few months ago. It had vastly outgrown his pond and was creating a right old mess. What a monster that is. And, you know, trying to track it down in this pond is almost like hunting for wild carp, because they do live pretty wild in here. It's not like a normal koi pond where you can just film them at any time. Here it's very different. Hey up. There's a terrapin there as well. Now, details about the pond, when it was constructed, how deep it is, how it was filled up and how it stays full, etc., will be in the video description and also in the pinned comment. So you don't need to ask me about that. Just check out those two places, or one of those two places, and you'll find that information. So there you have it. I'm sure you've got more interesting things to do than watch me show you this pond, because the pond just gets on by itself. It does what it does. I love it, but to me it's just something that is, you know, and always will be, hopefully. Yes, actually, before I go, I would just like to thank everybody who commented on my last video, which was about the biohome back-end panels for aquariums. That it hasn't garnered millions of views or anything like that. It hasn't taken off crazily, although I'm sure some people may have shared it, hopefully. But the comments on there have all been exceptionally positive and also helpful with regard to recommending what they could be used for, the sizes that they should be made, the shapes and colours that you'd like to see. That's awesome, because that's exactly what the comment section in every video is for. It's for people to put their thoughts from here down onto a public platform for other people to take in and consider, and also hopefully benefit from as well. That's what it's all about, you know, just sharing information. So if you've got any questions about the pond, put them in the comment section, and if I see it, I'll get back to you. Unfortunately, Google stopped sending me any notifications in early 2020. They haven't reinstated that. Even though I've got everything ticked, I've got to go looking for comments. So any new comment I see, I will reply to, but if I reply to it and then you reply to me, I won't be able to see that. It's a difficult situation and a bit debilitating, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Awesome. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.